Hello and welcome to this session where I'm going to review some real family finances, some challenges of finances, and I'm going to make some recommendations. And this is going to help you as well. You can send in your information and we can review it on this channel and see how we can help you focus on improving your family finances. So today I have a couple Jack and Jill, let's call them Jack and Jill. So this is their backstory. We started a backstory so we could understand what's happening with their finances, right? So we are married for just about 2 years. We don't have kids together, but my husband has 2 children before our marriage. We are both permanently employed, but we seem to have more bills than money. We really want to get out of our current debts and have more income so we can go on vacation and have a baby. So this story tells me the clients why. They really want to have money so that they could be comfortable. If they're out of debts, they can go on vacation and not worry about the debts and also have a baby of their own, which is going to cost them some money. So she wants to get comfortable and not have to worry about debts. Now let's look at the client's income, expenses, and current income and expenses. Wife salary is $7,600. Now they get paid per month. Husband's salary is $7,500. So total they make $15,100. Now this is TT dollars because this is a TT channel, right? $15,100. I would say, yeah, that's a good income. But what about their expenses? Here we have the fixed expenses. Fixed expenses are those expenses you have to pay whether you make money or not, right? They come out of your bank account, your salary. Mortgage, $3,008. Electricity, because she did say they have a house, they marry about 2 years, maybe they have that house, I'm thinking, just before the marriage. Electricity, $450. Now, electricity comes twice per month, every other month, I should say, every other month. So I divided the 900 by 2, which gives me $450 a month, right? Telephone, they have a telephone plan for each of them, total $550. They have one credit card, minimum payment of $400, car loan $2,400, personal loan $1,800, child maintenance, because she did say he has 2 children outside or before the marriage, of $2,000. They have cable and they have internet of $600, and they have a appliance loan for $300. So their total fixed expenses are $12,300. But let's look at the variable. Variable are those expenses that change month to month, not necessarily the same, and some of them they could be excluded, right, if you don't have the money. So gas and maintenance for their vehicle, a round off of $1,200, groceries $1,500, toiletries $600, grooming such as haircuts, and I think she has on it eyebrow fill, right, $500, eating out $800. So their total variable expenses $4,600. Before I do the flag test, let's look at their debts. Their debts should be debts. They have a mortgage for $798. That's 4%, a minimum payment of $3,800. So they make payments of $3,800. She didn't put for me the dates due, but I'm hoping, or I'm sure that everything should do month end, because this is a month end. They get paid by the month end. Their personal loan, I think this loan is with the credit union for $20,000 at a 12%. That's very high for credit union loan. $1,800. Credit card, $8,000. 25% interest on the credit card, a minimum payment of $400. Car loan, $175,000 at a 9%, minimum payment, $2,400. And then the appliance loan, a balance of $3,000, interest rate is 15%, a minimum payment of $300. Now looking at their debts, I'll go on to my recommendations after, but let's look at it and see all the debts. And we did include the debts. I did include the debts in the fixed expenses because, you know, you have to pay debts. Let's look at their savings goal, right? And how much money they have saved towards these goals. So here we have by description, they have a savings goal for emergency fund of 5,000. Should be more. Emergency fund should be 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And if you see their living expenses totaling to about 16,000, then you'd want to have more than 5,000. But let's look at it. You know, we start with small chunks. So they want to start with a 5,000 emergency fund. Vacation, 12,000. A baby of 40,000, business 18,000, life insurance, they didn't give a balance, so I'm guessing they are looking to take out some life insurance. Home furnishings 40,000, car insurance 8,500, and car down payment 15,000. Now next to each goal, they also have how much they want to save per month, totaling 6,450 towards each goal. So they're targeting each goal every month. And they also have the due dates. So I guess when they finish with the emergency fund, they'll take that money and throw it into another goal. And that's the plan. But their savings now, they have bonds. They have some bonds saved. Now, bonds are long-term financial instruments. It's an investment, right? You tie up your money in bonds. You can't pull it out. If you pull it out, you're going to lose. Right? I think this bond is a 15-year. They have 15 more years on this bond, right? So they can't touch that. So that's can't be assigned to any of these goals because these goals are less than 15 years. Credit union, they have a $10,000 in the credit union. Again, they have a loan tied to the credit union. So I don't think this credit union savings can be applied to any of their goals. They have a mutual fund, $1,500. So $1,500 can throw it into one of their goals of breaking down that emergency fund. Now let's go back to the flag test. The income is $15,100. And their expenses, 12 plus 46 gives us 16,900. 16,900. When we take the income from the expenses, we get a negative 1,800. Now this is a red flag. This is a red flag. It's not a green flag. If your income is more than the expenses, well then yes, it's green. You can go right ahead. But red means what? Stop, right? You have to stop. We have to stop. We're looking at your expenses now. So I'm telling them, you're looking at this is the real life. If you continue living like this, we see so many couples getting into divorces because challenges with the finances. If you continue like this marriage is new. If you continue like this, you'd have challenges. If or when the baby comes, what are you going to do, right? How are you going to start your business? How are you going to achieve your goals? Where's emergency fund? If you do have an emergency, what will happen? Right? You're going to go to the next step. You may need to do some repairs on the house or get additional furniture. What are you going to do? Go into more debt? So the first step we're going to look at is determining if we have an income problem or an expense problem, spending problem, income problem, or a spending problem. And how I do that? I look at the fixed expenses first, and we have three alternatives. We can keep the expense, we can cut it out altogether, or we can lower it. So I'll go through each one. So mortgage, you can't do anything with your mortgage. You could probably call your mortgage company and ask. I'm doubting. So don't say that. Let's look at the electricity. So we're going to keep the mortgage. Let's look at the electricity. Can we cut this? Can we lower it? No, we can't take out our electricity. None of these things we can cut because they are really fixed. So electricity, we might look at lowering it. Now, the things I'm going to tell you here, they might be hard. They're going to be hard. But I'm teaching you how to improve on your finances. So I'm going to put this client into a bare bones budget, bare bones budget. Now, many people and many of us are in this situation, and it's not a shame to be in the situation. If you understand what situation in, you can make a plan so you can move out of the situation rather than staying into the situation. So don't look at it as a negative, look at it as a positive way of improving your financial situation. So I'm telling this client, this electricity is very high for a couple who works most of the day. So I'm assuming they have some air condition, AC. So we want to lower this electricity. We want to lower this electricity by $200. We want to take this by $200. So I'm asking them to take off and plug that AC for a while until we can get the finances to improve. So we're going to lower. We're going to lower this to 200. All right, we're going to unplug those ACs. Telephone. All right, we're going to keep the telephone. But the credit card, well, you're going to keep paying your minimum payments. But this is a challenge. If you're just paying the minimum payments, imagine that credit card, $8,000. So this is not so bad. And some people have $40-something thousand credit card, $8,000. If you just keep paying the minimum, you're just paying the interest. You're not paying that $8,000. So that loan stays with you forever. Car loan, we're going to keep the car loan. Personal loan, let's keep the personal loan. Child maintenance, let's keep the child maintenance. Cable and internet. Cable and internet, I want to cut it out. Now, this might be hard for you to hear, but this is just temporary. So you're just doing a bare bones budget until you could improve your financial situation. Why are we cutting the cable and the internet? So we can improve our financial situation. We want to be able to work within our budget, live within our budget. Appliance loan, we're going to keep that. So far, if I cut 600 and I cut, let's say 200, I've got 200 from here, I have 800 already. $800 I've already cut out of the negative. Now let's look at their variable expenses, gas and maintenance. I'm not sure how often or what they do for maintenance each month, but we keep it. We'll keep it. What about groceries? Well, we're going to keep groceries because we see the price of groceries is escalating, but we have to come up with a plan to manage that $1,500. Toiletries, let's keep toiletries. Grooming, I want to cut or lower, sorry, I want to lower the grooming to $300. So they may have to go by the barber less frequent and probably do the eyelash fill for themselves, right? I want to cut it by 200. Let me cut it by 200. Eating out. Now we're going to cut eating out. Sorry, I lowered the grooming by 200. I'm going to cut the eating out by 800. So if you have 800 and 200, right? 800 and 200. Yeah, that's 1,000. So we have 1,000 saved from variable expenses and 800 can be saved from fixed expenses. Now, if the client's budget is accurate, this bare bones budget now balances. And so the client is now zero, right? The income minus their expenses is going to be zero and they're in the green and they can go ahead. Right, but still we have to figure out, did this client have an income problem or a spending problem? Looking at it, you can tell, well, if you have an income problem, we're going to come up with a red flag still. But if you have a spending problem, then we're going to get a green. But I won't say this time it's neutral. So I want to say they have a little income problem because looking at their expenses, it's not really out of the way. They don't have things that are unnecessary, just have things that they can do it out for a little while until they could improve. Or to get them back on their budget, they need to improve on their income. So suggestions. My suggestions to this client. I want to ask this client, to come together and try and get a second income. So the second income could be monetizing your skills, finding that skill gap, what you can do, and using your skills to make extra money, outside of work, right? Secondly, I want to tell them maybe to find a second job in the afternoon in a restaurant or daycare, something, they have a home, maybe do some daycare for some persons who are doing classes, something, use your home in some way to bring in that extra income. And again, this is just for a short time until you can, get your finances in order. You see the client's debts. I want to go through that debt, but here's where you have to get creative. You have to remember, this is a temporary situation. If you continue in the situation that you're in, then there's no help for you. But once you start to do something, you would improve your situation. I recently met a gentleman when I was walking. I normally walk a hill for my exercise. And he was on that hill asking around for mangoes and breadfruits. And he said, himself and his wife, they're looking for things to sell. People who have food items, things to sell, and they go to the farmers market on a weekend and sell. And the money that they make from farmers market, this is going to go towards their children's books in September. And I found that to be, I said, where did you learn that? People who just come around and beg, we need help to get for our children's school books and stuff. But he said, no, he's taking the first initiative and doing something for himself to get himself out of the situation. He's not sitting down and saying that this is the money he have and he don't have enough, so somebody else needs to help him. He's helping himself. So I'm saying, if this is your situation, I'm hearing in the pain point that you want to get out of debt and you want to, go on vacation and have a family, but these are your challenges. You seem to have more bills than money, which we saw to be very true. Now, let's look at it again. Let's look at their debts and see how we can help them with these debts. Right. So my recommendation always is to pay off your debts based on the interest rates. In the long run, some people do what we call the snowball method. They pay off the smallest first, but in the long run, you benefit better financially by paying off your debt by the highest interest rates. So this credit card loan, when you make that extra money from whatever side hustle you find yourself doing, I want you to throw it at your credit card, And then the second priority, that appliance loan, right? Appliance loan. And alongside that, you want to keep saving for your emergency because you don't want to have to go back and use that credit card when things happen, and things do happen, a flat tire, a punctured tire, anything can happen, and you can end up back using that card. Then you're going to focus on that personal loan so you can free up those shares. But yeah, and you have your car loan and your mortgage, right? So that is my recommendation to you. And again, continue to save. I know it's hard. It's hard, but in this situation, there's not much that you can cut out of your expenses. So you need to focus more on making more money, finding ways to monetize your skills. What skills do you have? Can you do photography? Can you teach? Whatever it is you can do, babysit, to find ways and to bring in more money so you can, come out of this debt rut and give yourself more breathing room so you can move towards your financial goals. I hope you enjoyed the session. If you want me to review your family finances, please send me a message, send me your info, and we'll review it. See you in the next session. Bye.